There's a kind of freedom that comes when you finally stop pretending. For decades, maybe you felt like you had to have all the answers for your children, your career, your life. But here's a quiet confession. What if saying, "I don't know," is not a weakness, but a strength you've earned? In this season of life, admitting you don't have everything figured out can be the beginning of a deeper wisdom. It's not giving up, it's opening the door to something truer. Think about it this way. Remember when you first learned to ride a bike? You probably had someone running beside you, hand on the seat, telling you they wouldn't let go. And then, at some point, they did let go, and you wobbled, maybe even fell. But that wobble was the only way you ever learned to balance on your own. Well, all those years of having answers, of being the one everyone leaned on, that was someone's hand on the seat. But now, in this season of life, letting go of the need to know everything is like realizing that hand is gone. It's scary at first, but it's also the only way you start to find your own real balance. You don't have to be the expert anymore. You don't have to have a plan for every twist in the road. You can just pedal and look around and say, "I don't know where this is going, but I'm here." So let me ask you, what if letting go of the need to know everything is exactly what sets you free? For so much of your life, you were the one who had to have the answers. At work, you were expected to know. In your family, you were the one people turned to. And inside your own head, there was this quiet pressure to always be sure, to have a plan, to never show doubt. But that was a younger version of you. That version was carrying a weight that was never yours to hold. Think of a woman in her 60s who once planned every single detail of her garden. She knew exactly where each seed would go, what bloom would follow what. But one spring, she just stopped. She let some wildflowers grow on their own without seeding or guiding them. And what she found was a beauty she never could have planned. The unexpected became its own kind of gift. That's what this season asks of you, to shift from knowing to wondering, to trade the pressure of certainty for the quiet freedom of curiosity. And once you taste that freedom, it changes everything. You know, there's something so quietly exhausting about pretending to know. We carry it for decades, this heavy cloak of certainty. We nod along when someone asks what's next, or what matters most now, as if we have it all mapped out in our back pocket. But the truth is, that weight can drain the life right out of you. Think of a man at a quiet cafe, a half-read book in front of him. He doesn't turn the page. Instead, he just sits there, watching the steam rise from his cup. And for a moment, he lets himself feel it. The relief of not having to figure it all out. He doesn't need to know where this season leads. He can simply enjoy the unknown path ahead without forcing a destination. There's a quiet strength in that, in saying, "I don't know," and that's okay. The map you thought you needed, maybe you can fold it up and set it aside. And when you open that door, something unexpected happens. A grandmother confesses to her grandchild that she doesn't know the best way to bake that old family recipe anymore. She's made it 100 times, but today, she can't recall the exact temperature or the pinch of spice. So instead of pretending, she says, "I don't know," and the grandchild lights up. They pull out the flour, the sugar, the butter. They guess, they taste, they laugh at the one batch that came out too flat. They create something new together, not because the recipe was lost, but because that honest, "I don't know," turned into an invitation. It became a shared adventure, a memory that neither of them had before. What could have been a quiet moment of forgetting became a chance to write a new story, side by side. That's what happens when you let go of needing to have all the answers. You make room for the unknown to bring you closer. And maybe that's the real shift. For so many years, you were trained to have an answer, to know, to be certain. But certainty can become a cage, can't it? It closes the door on surprise. It tells you that the world is already mapped, and your only job is to follow the lines. But here, in this season, there's a different kind of strength. It shows up when you're walking a path you've walked 100 times, the same tree, the same bend in the road, and suddenly you notice something you never saw before. A bird's nest tucked low in the branch. The way the light slants differently in October. You weren't looking for it. You were just paying attention. That's the quiet power of not rushing to answers. It keeps your eyes open. It keeps you curious. And curiosity is a form of hope. It's the belief that there's still something new waiting for you, even on a road you thought you knew by heart. And here's the hardest thing to let go of: the fear of being wrong. That quiet whisper that says, "I should know this by now. I've lived long enough to have the answers." But what if this season isn't about having all the answers? What if it's about unlearning old rules that never fit you anyway? Think about the retiree who walks into a painting class for the first time. She's never held a brush. She says, "I don't know how." And here's the gift in that confession. Not knowing is the very thing that lets creativity flow. There's nothing to prove, no reputation to protect, just paint, paper, and the freedom to try. That's the beginner's mind. And it doesn't belong only to the young. It belongs to anyone brave enough to say, "I don't know," and let that be the start of something new. So here's the quiet truth nobody tells you. Saying, "I don't know," isn't giving up. It's one of the most powerful choices you can make. It's the moment you stop pretending you have all the answers and finally let yourself breathe. And in that breath, something shifts. You clear out the clutter of certainty and make room for what's actually coming next. Tonight, try this. Find one question you've been carrying about your purpose, your future, anything. Say it out loud. "I don't know," and sit with the relief that follows. Not the panic, the relief. Because not knowing isn't empty space, it's a doorway. If this brought you a little peace today, subscribe. There's more on the way, because you still have so much ahead of you, and you don't need to know exactly what it is to step toward it.